Hello and welcome back to another fine evening of Rust. Today is a competition evening again, and I will continue to try to speak a bit slower because I read somewhere it's important. Okay. We're playing Code Royale. It's another game. It's kind of a tower defense game. We control a queen and we run around the board, and we're writing this in Rust. And we've made it to the Bronze League. There's only a Bronze League now. The leagues are split up. So the Wood Leagues are all training leagues, basically. Training. Silver will be open on Monday, which is rather unfortunate for us because I won't be around all of next week. So when I get back next Saturday, I think the Legend League's already going to be open. So what we have to do is we have to push our board as high as possible in the Bronze League and hope it rolls over. But due to metagaming, we may have a small chance unless we come up with something awesome, which is unlikely because we're heuristics based. But let's see what we can do. Let's just go over. Let's just take the main guy. I have some ideas of what I want to do, and let me tell them first before we add this guy, before we look at him. My idea is now when we play, there's two things we have. Is I walk right into the enemy territory where the towers are shooting me down, and that's obviously bad. The second one is in my territory, I need to run between towers and keep reinforcing the towers. And we've never gotten to a situation where the gold mine has run out of money, but we might get to that if they run out. We'll see. And we might need to set up second barracks. And there's a trick I wanted to test. I want to watch very carefully to see how long it takes after you build a barracks before it can generate somebody. Because if it's immediate, we can keep generating barracks and then immediately switch into the tower. So create a barracks, train them, and then do the tower. But let's take a look at what Shinny does then. Let's see how we lose against him, and you can see the game. So he's top in the list right now, so he has the best bots. And looking at other people is kind of what makes the metagame really hard, because any tricks you have, anybody's going to be able to see them right away. And so he's doing something very similar. He's not even creating. Okay, so this was another idea I was thinking of. So his approach makes a lot of sense, and he has a goal-based orientation. So let's just go for the one he does right now. Let's see how well with basically his strategy. We're going to copy it, and we can play it again, and I'm willing to bet he just creates 2 mines, then creates some towers, and then he creates some armories, and he stays all on one side. Let's see what happens if we play it again, if he does the exact same thing. And this is what I mean about metagame. Even if I take his strategy, it doesn't mean we'll win, but we're going to find out. Okay, so he does... Well, he created 3 mines this time, which is very curious. And then he just goes and sits back in those towers there. And he can pump out these people really fast. Which is very curious that he has so many of them. I want to see how he got so many of them again. It seems like they regenerated extremely fast. I guess ours did too, but his are in the middle, which means they're going to pile up, and I'm stuck here. So let's just go try to emulate his code. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. But his seems like a good starting point, because it's closer to what we want. The thing I talked about here about sticking with your own towers is very good. 3 is probably a good number, though I bet 4 would be even better safety, because he was pretty close to dying here, and he just ignored it. And I'm willing to bet he does the exact same thing again. And I think his goal is limited to how much he gets, his total income. He's looking for a certain income. He's not looking for a certain number of mines. So he got an income of 3, and then he ran away. And then he goes back to here. And then he opportunistically... He does generate more if he has the opportunity. But those are his basics. So let's go for that. But definitely the mines come first. And then some towers, and he's not trying to organize the towers. Let's do a similar thing. We're going to go back to our code. We have a lot of work to do in the code and clean up because we have a bit of weirdness going on. I've forgotten where we are. We have if flee, if build, if move. The if-lee is something I think we're going to ignore for now. We're going to do an if build. And what do we want to build? We want to have mines. The mines are the first thing we want to have, and then we want to have towers. So yeah, let's just do that. Let's leave if-lee, and let's go to if build. And if build means we have to have a goal here. We have to do if move. What does if move do? Find closest site that's not us, and we're going to move towards it. And closest may not be the best one. We may actually want to optimally find one close to our home base, because those are actually better. And that would mean we have to identify a home base, but let's just do it. Let's assume this works well enough, and we'll say when we're touching one what happens. Okay, and it's site touched. And this is the gold mine upgrade one. We're going to keep this. We're going to keep trying to update a gold mine, though we could probably extract the logic a little bit. We build the count here. And let's figure out how many of these things we have. We have, actually no, let's start with that. Let's make it income based. N equals total income state dot sites. And where do we want to put that? Put it up top somewhere. It doesn't really make a difference. Total income, and what do we have? We want a list of sites. I don't know why I'm splitting that down. We could just as easily put the state. Let's just put the state. It simplifies what we're passing around. Let me know if it's not loud enough today or something. Total income, so we're going to go through all the sites for site in state dot. Is there a way to get the pop-up actually? Sometimes I do. There it is. State dot sites. Iter. If site dot what does not equal. Actually, let's do it this way. Let mut income equals 0. This is a structure actually. A structure. Mine. Control space is a. Well, that's weird. Oh, because it's supposed to be structure type. Like a mine. Now this pop-up stuff is working much nicer now the way we're doing it. It used to pop up all the time, and now what I'm trying to do is I turned off most of the pop-ups until 2 seconds, but I think control space brings it up. And so income plus equals site dot mine income. And then we just return the income. We could do this with a map and stuff. How would we do that with a map? This one, since it's so simple, we could actually do it with a map. Let's do it that way. Stage.sites.iter.filter site.structure equals structure type mine filter, and then we're going to put a dot map site is going to be site.mineincome, and this will become a sum. So that's a bit more, that's a bit clearer the way it's going, and let's go with that. Total income, and what do we call it? Total income of all sites. And now we want to count the towers as well. Let's count the barracks, and barracks count equal count sites, state, and what site do we want, structure type. Structure type, barracks. Let tower count equal count sites, state, structure type, Now, we don't know for sure that the strategy we're seeing against that guy is his actual strategy. He may be adapting to us a bit more, and we just have such a crappy strategy that he comes in and he does that. So we're going to see when we approach him what happens afterwards. And what I'd say this thing, I call it count sites. That was silly. What did I call it? I always forget names. I'm really bad while talking. Usually when I'm coding, I don't forget the names this often. It's when I'm talking here that I tend to count them. Count sites, state, and state. And what is a structure type? It's supposed to be an iter as well. Now I'm sure there's a count function. If we just filter again, do we get to filter and count? I think that works. This is probably a use size, but we're just going to cast it. Site. What? Count as I32. And so we're going to change the logic of what we generate down here. Get rid of this stuff here. We don't need the build count anymore. Build count equals 0. We're going to keep our home base. Now we're going to change the logic here. We're going to say, when we're order around, if income is less than 5, we're going to build a mine. And we have that logic there, return some. And otherwise, if tower count is less than 3, we're going to build a tower. Now we have to reinforce these towers at some point, but let's just get the basic logic working and see where we go. Otherwise, we're going to build a barracks knight. We're going to build these guys. Alright, let's see what happens. Clear and cargo build. Did I mean? No, I probably did mean. Did you mean state? I did mean state, and I did mean state down here as well. The RLS plugin, I tried fixing it. I uninstalled it, reinstalled it. If any idea has any ideas of how to actually get this working, that would be wonderful. I'd really like to know how it works, because going to the console here isn't delightful. I mean, I'm totally used to it. I don't work with IDEs very often. I mean, I use my whole desktop with an IDE, so it really doesn't bother me too much to go down here, especially with this control click. It just, for learning and for show, it might be helpful. And so what is this supposed to be? Let's do plugin state dot. Is it really what? It is. What do I call this thing in a site? I keep forgetting. What do we call it? Site is a structure. Well, why was it complaining about structure not being there? And oh, because it's this stupid thing. Because it's a map. And this is stupid. We had this one last time, and this bugs me about Rust's type deduction. It should absolutely know what this site is. We're iterating a known collection with known types in it. The fact it doesn't know what this site is here is really just kind of disturbing. I don't know how to cast this thing to it. And maybe if we put an and here, just hope for the best. Because the weird thing is, it doesn't seem to care about the map. I know map's the same way. So this is quite often why I end up not using the functional protocol in Rust. Because it's sometimes just easier to do this. And it tends to work better, which is really unfortunate. I wish somebody could tell me what I'm actually doing wrong with this. total plus equals site.mine income. Let total equals 0 and return total. Let's see if this works first before I... Yeah, and this is what I mean is that as far as I'm concerned, this is a defect in the API somehow. That the basic, every time we attempt to do a functional notation in Rust, it always inevitably fails. It's very rare we actually get the notation that we want working. We end up going to the for loop because its type inferencing thing works better in for loops. It just doesn't survive the functional notation, which is really unfortunate because it looks like they're meant to have a functional language, but I don't know how to get these things working. I have no more information here than I do here, and yet it's able to here determine what type site is, and yet down here it says I don't know what type it is. And so it's disturbing, and I'll leave those commented out. If anybody has any idea how to fix that in Rust, we would be quite happy, but otherwise there's just nothing I know how to do. It's just, in my opinion, it's basically broken. And it makes the language really hard for people to learn because you can't do any of the cool stuff. You're stuck with basic for loops, and half of the API is basically off limits because you get errors, and the error makes no sense. Not that the error structure itself is wrong, it doesn't know the value of that type, but there's no way from looking at the code to figure out why it doesn't know the value of that type. So basically we're going to do the exact same thing here. We just do count plus equals 1. And it's not that much longer, the code. It's less semantic, of course. This is very different. The functional version has a much more semantic meaning to it. It says filter and then count. Much clearer than me doing a for loop and with continues and counts. It's just much cleaner, the functional one, and it's unfortunate that it doesn't work. And there must be a way to get it work, except... Well, I don't know what type, I don't know how to tell it what type it is. And that's what I was structuring. There must be a way to tell it what type it is, but I actually don't know here. I don't know how to say what type this is here. Is there some notation? Do I do like a structure type, or do I do like a site? I mean, I'd be willing to do that if it makes it easier. It's still, if you know the syntax of how to say what type it is, I'd be happy to go for that. So let's see if that actually works, and well, we'll try that in this one. And so, no, that doesn't work. We can't simply tell it what type it is here. I'm just going to double check it is a site. So that's not what type it is here. So let's go back to the other one for now. I still don't know how to do it. Somebody would have to figure out what type that is. Now let's play against this guy again. We have our new code. Did I actually connect this thing? I used the external editor. Source/evening rust -private. And we have code. Where are we? Code Royale. Single file. Alright. Let's see if we do something different. I just want to make sure we do what we do. We should copy him, basically. We didn't create enough towers. Alright, we're going to try the tuple thing one more time. So that makes sense what you're saying, that did I not put the tuple notation correctly? Okay, so that would make sense that I had the tuple notation wrong. And if that is the case, then it would really be that the error is not very good. So if we have this, let's try this first. Consider using a reference. Alright, so that looks like it'll actually work. I'm unclear as to why this one takes a reference and this one doesn't. So there's still some oddities here, but we hope this works. So I guess I have no idea why this takes a reference and this doesn't take a reference. And this syntax here, you can see it's a bit... this is very verbose. It's syntax heavy here to map a map, but we can work with that. And we need the and. So in this case, maybe it was just the error message was really misleading. But again, I still don't understand why this map doesn't require it. Like, can I put a reference there as well? No, so map doesn't take a tuple. It takes a... I don't understand, but let's move on with that. Let's do the second one as well. Let's do down to count. And so our income appears to be wrong anyways. No tower count. We only built one tower, which is weird. Why did we build only one tower? Let's check it out. Let's do an ePrint line here and see what we have. I, B, T, income, barracks count, and tower count. Alright, so that's down here as well. So the same thing, this... Not sure why we have... Let's check out what we're doing for the towers. So we build the mines. We build way too many mines. Or maybe not, because we have... So we just don't build enough towers, that's for sure. Income is 2. Income is... Or income appears to be wrong. Income is now 4, so we're not counting up income correctly somehow. Are we not filtering out their sites? Are we just going through... Yeah, we're not filtering out our sites. But the income is still wrong. Income is now 6. So we gotta check what is the income variable on a mine? -1 of enemy, so that's the issue. So we don't know the enemy's income rate. But that's okay, we're just going to filter these out anyways. We're going to do site.owner, who's owner, us, and site structure that. So we're going to filter 2 of them out. And site.structure, owner, mine. So that filters them out, and we should be fine with that. And that'll filter out the towers as well. That would explain why we're not creating enough towers as well, because we were counting his towers. Alright, so we have enough mines now. And so our option of where we go, and we killed him fairly fast this time. Well, we walked too far into his territory. I'm going to submit this anyways, just to see how well we do. Because it'll be curious to see. We're at 196. I'm going to write this down. We're at 196. And of what? 196 of 389. And we'll just see at the end of the show where we are. We might have just had one random one. We're winning on and off, I guess. How are we losing here? We don't stay in our own territory, and this is... Well, we died too quickly here. So that's a problem there. We died too quickly. I think we have to... Maybe we should build a barracks first, or maybe we don't need so many mines. Yeah, I'm getting that now, edA-qa, that if you have low health, I'm building way too many mines. So that 5 is way too much. Let's take that one we lost here. No, that wasn't it. This one. So we only had 40 health. I mean, part of the reason we die is we don't go to our safety zone, and maybe that's what we should fix next. Do we want to fix the safety zone, or reduce the number of mines and go towards the safety zone? And the safety zone will basically be go to the tower with the least amount of health and try to recover it. Which might work alright. Let's do that. Yeah, edA-qa, I mean, I'm not actually intending to create more than 2. It's just sort of the last strategy I have. Barracks. Right, it's my fallback one. Once I've created enough mines, then I just create barracks. I'm going to say less than 4 here. And what we could do is we could do this. We could actually make it this. If barracks count, then we build a barracks. Otherwise, make the fallback just to build another tower. That'll build more. And our if flee is going to be more interesting. If flee says if we're too close, then we're going to find our closest tower. Not our closest tower, but the one with... I'm going to make it less than 400. Anywhere close, we're going to start running early. And this is all nonsense now. We don't produce archers, so we don't need that. What we want to do is find our weakest tower. Function, find our weakest tower. State and state to the position point. I wouldn't even need a position anymore. Option and site. There's got to be one weakest thing. And We should probably check the towers we actually created, so we can go back and just build another one. If there was no tower, we create it and figure out what we do anyways. Copy this over basically, and someday I'd really like to know how to do this clearer, but this map makes it very complicated as well. Weak site, weak health. And the health is going to be equal to site dot, what do we have? Tower, well this pop-up's not helpful. What do we have for state? For the site we have, we don't have the tower stuff in there yet, that's why it won't probably be there. I'm looking for their health, and the health is remaining HP and the attack radius. Oh, tower HP, it is there. Tower HP, so tower HP. If weak side is none, or weak health is less than, no, health is less than weak health. Health is less than weak health, then we take the weak side equals some site, and the weak health equals health. And get rid of all these extra things here and go back to find our if let sum TP equals find our weakest tower in our state, then we're just going to go build there. Otherwise, we're just going to fall through to none, and that should figure out we need a tower and build another tower. This is our weak site we're returning. And what else do we have? We have site tower HP as a function. Let's get that one instead. Blum 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 blum. Health, weak health. Guess we don't need a floating point in this case. Who are we fighting here? Let's try them again. Let's reload it so we get the same battle. Just watch what we do, see if it makes more sense now. We don't necessarily need to win, just make sure it makes more sense. Oh, we do win though. So we create the barracks, recreate that. Now we run away to the towers when there's one there, and then we back up to more towers, and we build another mine. That actually worked well. One issue we had, which makes no sense, is that when we have less than 3 towers, we run to the towers there. We run to the tower, but we shouldn't do that. We should actually just make a new tower instead. If flee. And we're going to take the tower count here as well, because we know we build towers here. And so let's just do it here, and let's just say if tower count is less than 0, then we return none. And we'll just verify that we still win with this one. We should win better in theory. Instead of running to the one tower, we'll just keep creating new towers first of all. And okay, so something didn't work there. Oh, I said less than 1, didn't I? Tower count is less than 2. Less than 3. Let's try that again. I mean, you still won, but let's try it again. The other one's not performing too well, 267. Let's see how many medals we have left to go of that. So now we create these things, and that should be fine. And we don't let him get a thing on us. And that's good. Let you check the leaderboard to see where we got. So this last one wasn't a very good run. Yeah, we have already exhausted our options, so let's submit a new one and see how much better we do. And that was like 268 of 393, so 4 more people made it here already. And then now we added prep towers. And that brings us somewhere else, and let's see where that brings us. 264 is probably still just the old one. And we're already at 209, so our first submission, we're already higher than the last one, but it doesn't mean a lot. That could just be luckiness. We often have that in the competition. When you have too much luckiness, it can jolt you up there. And see, because we dropped down to here again, which is weird because our score's going up and we have it trending up, but our score actually dropped. Yeah, well, shit happens. It's looking better though, and the health thing is going to be an issue, what strategy we take with health. And that's just going to be, I think, the aggressiveness, how far we stick to home if our health is low. Once our health is lower than a certain point, we're going to stick to home. Because the way we find a tower now is, wherever I am, I just go to the next closest tower. And it would actually make more sense to go to the next tower that's closest to the home base and protect the home base and then make a little oval around it, because otherwise we end up walking into enemy territory, which is really bad. Because right now I don't even walk anywhere. We're totally fine without walking into enemy territory. So we're doing better than we did this morning, or when we started. We're already up to 171, which is better than where we started tonight. And we'll just see how high that gets, I guess. We can grab one of the ones where we're losing, but we'll see how high it gets so we can compete with the losing one. So we're definitely going up 149. So that was a significant improvement. But let's grab one where we lost and see why we lost, so we don't have to just wait around for this. We can try something else while losing. And there's a losing combination right there. And so we lose this one here is because we don't have a barracks. And that's an interesting thing to consider, that we don't have a barracks yet. And because we're too far away, we're never going to create a barracks. We're never going to get someone to actually create that barracks. And he basically goes unmolested then. He never actually has the issue. And we have all this money here. So what I think we should do, we should actually create a barracks maybe second to see if that competes against this guy. Because this never-ending stream here we can't compete with. If we just let him build more and more barracks and he has more and more gold, he has an infinite supply and he's just going to keep training, and we have nothing to compete with him. And that just lets him run around, and he must have some sort of strategy that reacts against ours. Or maybe not. Maybe he just does this even if he has that. So let's go create some barracks and see what happens. First of all, we're going to commit this stuff. Level 150 plus, we don't know for sure. And let's change our barracks strategy. What I'd really do is maybe just create an array of saying which ones we create in time. If income is less than 2, then we build a mine. If barracks count is less than 1, we build a barracks count. And we're going to start with 1 tower. And then we're going to do the rest of the towers over here. And then we'll build more barracks when we have them. It's a little bit ridiculous. And then we'll build mines after we've built some towers. After we build the next barracks, we'll build mines again if income is less than 5. And we should have some sort of list to this. I'm not sure how to simplify this here. We'll get back to that. I don't want to spend too much level simplifying because we don't know how we're going to do and how much this changes over time. Alright, so our rank is sort of staggering right now. Let's play this one again. Let's see how we do against this guy. And curiously, we still lose. And I'm wondering why that is. Because he still just overwhelmed us and we can't send enough towards him. So, let's try it again. Let's see what happened. So we have the barracks and we attack him. Then he creates 4, and he just creates more then. Let's try again to make sure it wasn't a fluke. But I don't think it was. I think he actually had a legitimate one. I mean, we're really close, and I'm trying to think of how, without specializing for this guy, what else should we do? What did we start with in health in this one? We started with 70, and he built those towers really fast, and the gold mine really fast. And we had a lot of guys. And we just lost, though. He was pretty close, though. Yeah, I see that my tower doesn't defend much, and that's because when I created the 3 together, I actually had a good defensive strategy, but now I don't have anything better. You know, maybe I should make the thing based on where they are instead first. Create mines here, then towers here, and then bases here. With 3 grouped together would be okay. We have to think about what logic we play with that. And are we done with our calculations? We have a few more. We can go up a little bit. 2209. And I'm actually going to write, I'm going to keep track of our score as well in the end, just so we know, so we know what we're doing. So that's the other option. Create towers not based on the ordering, but on where they are. And he created a defense tower there. Just weird. Why did he create a defense tower there? Where do we actually start? I didn't quite understand that. So what I was thinking is I'm going to create these ones here as barracks, and then these ones as towers, and maybe barracks outside of it. Although, you know what I'm tempted to do? I'm tempted to try something completely different. I'm tempted to just run out here and create a whole bunch of towers and just keep creating towers in this region. And once I have more than 3 towers, then I create a barracks. But otherwise I keep creating towers. And instead of fleeing away, I just go and create more towers, more and more towers. We can test that quickly. I want to see how well that works. And stick with us close to our home base instead. How big is this grid again? So our home base is at X, this is like 2,000 or something. And if we just stick within the home range, we draw like kind of a line, and we'll let this define home base, or we'll just let our starting position define home base. We must have the queen's position, right? A unit has a position. A unit has a position. So the state should have the starting position. Our queen. So let's do start position as a 0.2. And how do we do the start position? We are going to set it in the entry point. This is something that should technically come in right away. We don't have the queens. We don't have that. Where do we set our queen? Our queen. Where do we set our queen? Our queen. Oh, we set it right there. And let's just put a private variable in here too. Start position is 0.2 default. Is there a way I can just call default? Do I have to specify the type, or can I just call default? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a different way. Strategy in the entry point here. After the first setup, I'm going to keep track of the setups. Iter count equals 0. If iter count equals 0, state.complete init, iter count plus equals 1. And then the state, we can say complete init. And with self dot our queen, no, not our queen, start position equals our queen dot position. So when we're looking for towers, we're never going to move too far away. And this is part of the if move. If move, find closest non-site us, we'll say that. Find close, and we're going to put a maximum. We're going to put a maximum distance of, we're going to say state dot start position, that's where we started from, and a maximum distance of 1,000. We'll just filter them out. We'll play with it to see what value that makes sense for. Find closest site non-us from point 2. Max distance is a float, or F64. And this is the max from. I'm doing it from the queen, which is a bit weird. Let's max. Yeah. What should we call the second one? Reference distance. Reference from. Hello, EDA-qa FS. Welcome back to the show. We're just trying to work up the ladder now. And we're going to have ref from a distance to v dot position. If reference distance is greater than, I already called it that, max ref dist. Ref dist max. Ref dist max. Then we continue. We're going to drop any site that's too far away. And so those are the sites. We cluster the sites. And I forgot what I said I wanted to do. My strat so far, as I'm trying to change it right now, is we build mines up to a certain amount of money, then we build a bunch of towers, and then we build one barracks, and then we start reinforcing the towers. And what I'm going to change it to, I'm going to attempt something really crazy. I'm just going to build a mine and then a whole bunch of towers, and once I have too many towers, then I'm going to start building a barracks and see if that actually works. We're still going to count with the mine, and if tower count is less than 6, then we can build barracks down here, and I'm going to generate these other ones. And in the last bit, we don't need more income. Well, let me see it fail first. Because I have some ideas on what to do with it as well. Because I think it's the reason why I want to build the towers first is to get rid of the first aggression. But what I intend on changing it to then, Thanos, we're playing Code Royale, the competition right now. We'll go back to what everyone else we're playing a Bomberman after. So IKFS, what I'm thinking is that once I build the towers in my defense, instead of propping up the towers, I'm going to build a barracks then. So when I'm safe, I'm going to build a barracks on top of one of my towers. And so that'll get me a cluster of towers, and then we'll see what happens. That's the idea, at least. But these things are so hard to encode sometimes in logic. All right. Because if I can fill my area with towers first of all, I don't know. We'll find out. We can just try different things over and over. But see, we get stuck here, and I really have to basically in the fleeing mode. What I meant to do with this is I want to get rid of the fleeing mode as well. So we stop fleeing, which you never do. Like that IKS, you mean? Like if I want to get rid of fleeing mode, I just get rid of the one if? This is what we'll structure as. This is how we did botters. We had a series of if statements like this, and we want to do the same thing and do a bunch of logic like that. So we can quickly play with them. Alright, I think we went too far out. I think 1,000 is too far. Yeah, I'm not going to delete my code, so IKFS deleting code, it seems like not a terrible thing to do. I'm going to check the leaderboard for what score we got up to. 22.71. The score is a good indicator of rank over the actual ranking, because as a lot of people join in, when we started this evening, where it's 389, we're up to 400 right now, and so we actually have a better rank than before. And so where did I put that 1,000 maximum? And that's the moving thing. Let's only branch out to, like, say 700. Okay, I didn't see you, IKFS. Where are you on the chart? Let me take a look. Oh, what's your name on there again? Okay. No. Yeah, I mean, it's the real challenge of the Wood League. The Wood League... What? The Wood League forces you to write code you may not like. There you are, okay. Alright, so you're right beside us. That's good to see. And edA-qa, I guess, yeah, the rewriting is definitely an option. And obviously when I do this show, I'm trying to get a structure where I won't have to rewrite. And I think I have that. And that's what I mean when I wrote this thing. What I do is why I have the entry, because this is guaranteed. The parsing is guaranteed. And the state, why I took all the strategy logic out of the state, because I can be guaranteed this 180 lines of code probably won't change. This is the state coming from the game. We know what this is. And then we have the support libraries, and then we have strategy. We could rewrite strategy entirely, but again, I separate out these functions, generic things, so our actual strategy code is only about 100 lines of code that we have to rewrite, and a bunch of helper functions, but that's easy enough to do. So I'm trying to make it so we can be more flexible and quicker to rewrite stuff here. And I want to see what happened. I think I submitted new code. I didn't submit new code. And so I can actually try these strategies quickly of saying, and so I'm still getting killed here by this super aggressive strategy. And this is bothering me, the super aggressive one, because I'm not entirely certain of how to aggress, because I have all these towers. Oh wait, are they not the maximum power when they start? I thought they started at maximum and went down. Did they actually have boosting as well? Oh, I didn't realize that. Definitely we should be boosting them. I didn't realize that. How do you tell that it gets no more power? Well, we'll do the same thing we do with mine. Is it always fixed? Is it like a mine, or is it always fixed? We'll just say 800 then. And we'll just boot towers if site.id equals us and site.structure. Yeah, that'd be IKFS. I want to know this aggressive structure, because I think it's going to be a difficult one to beat, but I think the structure is the big deal, that the towers. Site.tower HP less than 800. And we're actually going to do this as well. Site.d equals self. I'm going to do last structure as well instead of last mine. We're only going to boost the one we last did, otherwise we can actually get stuck in the same place. Format, build, tower, site.id. And where is last mine? Last structure. And the same with thing, we're going to put the last structure here, self.lastStructure equals site.id. Okay, that might make more sense. Well, we only need to do, let's just do 400, because that's enough. Because right now we have 100. Not last mine, last mine. Last structure. Last structure. Alright, so let's try this again. Yeah, it was C basic. Sorry, yeah, that's how you found it. It's taking longer to calculate, which is a good sign. Except we still run out there and we still have no chance against him. You just locked out in the match history, okay. So we're going to do this. We're going to start tweaking this a little bit. Tower count is less than 4, otherwise we build barracks. And I'm going to go back to 3, and I'm going to go back to 1. And I should abstract these functions a little bit, but let's just see it now. If it shows that this is showing promise, we'll tweak this out a little bit. If tower count is less than 5, barracks count is less than 2. So we have the fleeing as well. We should just... We tied here, though. Interesting. So it's not much more we'd have to do. And this is just because we ran out here. We didn't give our towers a chance to actually kill those things. Are you beating me, IKFS? Do you actually beat me, or am I beating you? Alright, so what I want to do is I want to check one thing. The fleeing thing. I'm beating both. Alright, so if we have less tower counts, then we don't flee. We just keep building, and let's do a barracks count as well. Because we absolutely need a barracks as well. Without a barracks, we're hopeless. But we're going to have to tweak this a lot. Yeah, I'm trying to set up the meat grinder here. I'm trying to get a barracks. I need to get at least one barracks. So we create the barracks there. And now we flee. Now we flee. We run away. Oh, I forgot to re-enable it. Sorry, I forgot to re-enable fleeing. So we still have fleeing there, and I actually beat him this time. And what I want to do here, though, is I want to... That makes sense, LKFS. I'm going to end up doing the same thing here, though, because I'm going to create 2 mines, and so they're never going to touch the mines. The mines are in the back, and then I'm going to build the other stuff over here, which will require a troll to destroy. And, well, let's see how I do with this one. Let's submit this, and let's see where we get to. We were at 157 of 401. I forgot to look at my score. Whoever this guy was, I beat him quickly. This time I don't beat him. Oh, what am I doing there? That looks like something stupid. Okay, so that's a broken... I have something broken there, obviously. Okay, the mine is out of gold. How do I tell that? How do I tell there's no more gold there? Parameter 2. Okay, let's check parameter 2. No, we don't know. No, I don't think it is on the input. It says the income rate, and we're gold mine -1. Aha, right there, gold. Right here. Do we parse that one yet? I don't know if we do. Why is that a special parameter, not just part 2? This one right here. Oh, and we have this too. I didn't realize we had this, max mine size. I've just been checking it on my own. I didn't realize you could actually just check it. Why are those not just parameters? That's weird. Ah, because it depends on the site, yeah. Gold. Max mine size. Well, this simplifies my code a lot. It's probably the same simplification I think edA-qa talked about before, maybe. That I didn't realize you can just grab this. So our code for that is we actually keep track of what we expected the gold to go up to, and then we track it. So I can simplify that quite a bit. Site.gold equals gold. Site.max mine size equals max mine size. That'll help a bit. Gold is 932. Are these unknown? -1 if unknown, okay. Yeah, IKFS, I totally didn't realize we were going to read that in. I had the same thing in Botters, the skill cooldown. I was going to track skill cooldown until somebody pointed out, hey, you can just read that in. And it seems to be just like a mishmash of what they read in. Max mine size and -1 if unknown. Gold is -1. So now we can simply do that. We're reading that in. Well, that's okay, because I don't think the... I'm just going to check the ones that I'm at anyways. So the first thing we do is we check if this is a mine, and the mine income is less than site.max mine size. And screw that other stuff. Just build the mine again. Last mine attempt we can get rid of. Last structure. We can just set this here. The last structure is this one. We don't have to set it in all of them. That simplifies it a bit more. Okay. Income is less than 2 and site dot max site.gold equals -1. Well, it does not equal 0. That's easier to do. It does not equal 0. Build a mine if it doesn't equal 0. Otherwise, just do something else. Oh yeah, and then we have to update our defaults. Gold is -1 and max mine size is also -1. They're the unknown values. Okay. We're doing questionable with the new code. The new code may not be as good, but we're changing it so much I don't care about that so much. Although 228's not bad. I don't know. I don't know when it sends to -1, but that won't make any difference to me. We have a good battle in this one here. We don't win, but I think we're doing okay. Well, no greater than 0 is a problem because you have a -1 if it said no. That's why I just said does not equal to 0, because it takes care of the -1 case as well. Okay, so we lost this game because he had more health at the end of the game, and I couldn't push people out fast enough. So I don't think I'm not satisfied. Let's try him again. IKFS, yes, it will be -1, but I'm only considering when I'm in range. So I don't even consider beforehand. I actually just don't, because I always just run to the next site that's available and then check it. So these games are really close we have right here. I have too many towers. And he just barely won this one. So how can I fix this one? Well, I'm not convinced this is terrible. Maybe this one's okay. Let's let the other one play out and see where we are first of all. So our score is actually lower so far. So we can scratch that. We don't like this one, 20.3. Reknakas, overall our approach is definitely just heuristics. And so far we haven't done... Yeah, I was thinking about hiding. I'm not so excited about hiding, because you need to run around the whole time. The only thing I think where the math would come into play is that the pathfinding in the game kind of sucks. So if I need him to go over here, it's going to bounce around here, and I might be better off running here than here directly and then doing it. But since you have these big stepping controls, I don't know. That'd be the only place where I have math. But hiding I don't think is actually going to work, because the enemy sends people so fast. You have to keep replenishing your towers. And in this case here, I'm not sure what I should be doing to actually kill him. I have more gold, but not enough to send out things. IKFS, I'm running between towers. I'm just running basically to the next lowest tower. Although running around would actually make sense as well. Well, there isn't much for pathfinding. I think it just bounces things about. It bounces the units around. I'm going to submit this new one, see if we do any better. Well, IKFS, I mean, it might work, and go ahead and try it. The issue I think you might face is that if you spend time running, it means you're not upgrading a tower. But I guess if there are other towers there... And I'm not sure what we do with it, what we make of that. Either our last one suddenly did good or the new one's doing well. I don't know. We'll find out. Well, it looks like the new one's doing better. So in my strategy, I'm unsure of, in this situation, what should I do? I need another gold mine. But this becomes dangerous because I need a gold mine out in the middle. And so I should actually take the risk and build a gold mine out there. But it's really a risk because I have to go build a gold mine and they're just going to destroy it because this stupid little guy's going to bounce a bunch and it's going to be destroyed. So I have to convert one of my towers into a gold mine. But this strategy so far it actually has a significant improvement. Right, so we're up here. It's significantly improved over the last one. Brings it up to 104, which is really nice. And Petrocell, I had that initially. I had just built 4 towers, but my logic for rehealing was just only heal if I have too much. IKFS, I'm not really intending on building that many towers. It's just kind of my fallback one. I build a tower if I don't know what to build. Because these ones I can't build mines on. They've exhausted their supply of gold. And therefore I just build a tower on them. I guess building a barracks is pointless. And so I need to convert one of them into a barracks, into a gold mine. And Petrocell says he's at number 70. Our current strategy isn't doing too badly, though. Reknakas, they destroy mines. And it's awful. If they just touch the mine, it gets destroyed. Meaning any mines near the middle are just going to get destroyed by the barracks like almost immediately. Barracks, however, don't. Has anybody found a use for trolls or archers yet? Archers seemed too weak when I played with them. And trolls, they just cost too much. I don't have enough gold. Okay, so I think the one thing I have to do... Yeah, that's what I've been guessing too. Archers are useless. Trolls I'm not sure about. I think they're useless too. They cost too much, and they don't do enough there. Yeah, Reknakas, I think IKFS actually suggested that as well. You put your mines somewhere else, your mines down here, and put your towers up here, and wherever there's units you run back. But you really don't have much time to get back up there. And you really have this a problem, your mines still just get exhausted anyways. I'm going to check where we are. Well, IKFS, I mean, that's working, but you see in this game here, against this guy, what's happening is that I'm building mines back here, but they get exhausted. And Yeah, then I should replace them. I have to find some way to replace them afterwards. I wonder, how long can you go without creating soldiers? I want to test something quickly. I have an idea I want to test. I'm never going to build barracks for the moment. Let's see how long I can last with my current strategy. If I don't build barracks, what happens? If I can make 400 turns, I have a different strategy. Okay, I have another strategy I'm going to work with now. Yep, I have an idea. I don't know who you rooster trolls with. I'm not doing any damage to him. I was just confirming a theory that I can survive long enough with just these towers. And what I'm going to do now is that when a gold mine runs out, I'm going to go build a barracks on it. Because you notice I have all this gold? And then I should just be able to pummel him. Because I have this gold built up. So we're going to do something weird like this. If site.gold equals 0 and barracks count is less than 3, less than 2, then we build a knight. Well, we don't win. But we can't do much of a flood. I don't rebuild mines, which is the issue here. I'm going to have to change my logic around a bit, because right what I'm doing now is when I run, I'm just trying to find the closest tower, and I think I have to fundamentally change my logic. I have to change my logic to actually base not just go to the nearest tower, but to pick what I want to do based on my current state, whether I want to run to a new tower or just go to the closest tower. Right, so now I have to think about restructuring because I have to actually make the bigger decisions like that. Because right now, all I ever do is I look for a tower that's nearby, that's empty. But I need a second one. If there's nothing, if we do nothing, if there's nothing to build, then I got to look for someplace to build a gold mine. Okay, I don't like that change. I'm going to change that back. It's a good idea. No, I still think this is reasonable. Let's build barracks. We can hold off on the barracks for as long as we can. But then we have to build new gold sites. Reknakas, yes, you can rebuild. The only thing you can't rebuild are mines. Well, you can, but if there's no gold left, then you can't rebuild a mine there. And what do I have in the end? If move. I'm going to change non-if move to be just rebuild some tower. So let's do something here called rebuild weak tower. Or I can just copy this out. We don't want this. We're going to change the none to be this. If let some find weakest tower, we're going to rebuild that one instead. So we don't sit around doing nothing. And we only build okay, and alright, well, thanks for watching IKFS. We'll check. Yeah, we're going to see where we are. We'll be on tomorrow night again. I'll come on probably around 9 or 10 again. And we'll see what happens then. Good luck with your bot. And so right now, what I need is I need a logic that actually tests if I have nothing else to build. I have to replace a tower with a new one. But let's see what I have for now, right now. I don't know. Is that an I or an L? That's an L, isn't it? I can't. My font. I can't tell. I keep getting it wrong. Or do I say FS? Well, maybe that's it. LKFS. Yeah, I do say FS. Sorry about that. I don't mean it. I don't know why. It's I keep thinking you're a file system, right? Okay. IKSF. 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 Let's go with this. IKSF. We're going to keep going without IKSF. Thanks for watching IKSF. IKSF. Sorry about that. Yeah, you're the IK file system. No, you got me saying it wrong again. No, don't do You're not a file system. You're something else. Alright, thanks for watching. Reknakas, when you build a tower, it doesn't replace it. Towers get upgraded. So towers are just going to get upgraded, and mines will get upgraded as well. And barracks, nothing happens to a barracks. It'll do nothing if you build it with the same one. Alright, so let's see what happens if I run this one. The thinking yoga balls, always got to have those. They're very important. They make me think. And you can change colors off and to see what happens. Alright, so how do I do in this case here? Do I do any better? He just pummels me to start with, but we're okay then. And then we go build a barracks. And then we keep reinforcing the towers, but we have no mines, so we have to get the mines up. Well, the yoga balls don't take any... I lost one. That's why you need replacements. You need to raise them. The yoga balls don't take any brain power, so they don't distract my brain power. If you have a puzzle in front of you, you're going to start playing with it, and then your brain power gets sunk into the puzzle. The yoga balls, I can guarantee, there's very low brain power. Sometimes you start counting patterns on them, but generally it's a fairly low brain power. Alright, so I need a way to produce... I need a way to replace towers. What I'm going to do is going to replace the towers. How am I going to do this? If move, we find the weakest tower. And actually we're going to change this as well. This is going to get messy really fast. So if we find a weakest tower, and we have to merge these together somehow, so the income is less than 4 and tp.gold does not equal 0, then we'll build a tower instead. Building tower. Tower going, I mean mine. Build a mine there. Otherwise, if barracks count less than 2, then we build a barracks. So we're actually going to replace our weakest towers with mines and barracks. And we're going to survive as Onslaught as long as possible. Whoa! And then we have danger there, but we're going to get a lot of gold for a while. And look, this is where you get totally screwed up by your own guy. My own guy was pushing me out into the field. And this was really close again, but it's this thing here I have to do. Raknakas, I limit the search range for where I go to 700, and then I build things just wherever. Let's make a function called build at site. And we're going to give it a site. And we're just going to get rid of this site touched. We just don't really care. We're just going to get rid of the site touched, I think. And we're going to make a structure based on what do we need at the particular case. And we're going to combine our logic for what we build. So we have a site. We don't care about the last structure. If it's a mine and the mine income is less than the max size, we're going to build a mine. If it's a tower And it's our tower. Oh, wait, we better check that one before too. Actually, it doesn't matter. We can get rid of this because if it's not ours, we'll just build anyways. We're going to build a tower. Otherwise, we're going to check logically what we have. We know that that's correct now. If it's not our tower, it doesn't matter. We're at a site. We've chosen for some reason that we want to build at this site. We'll keep track of the last structure in our build count. I don't know. This editor jumps around for some reason. We only build where there's 0 gold for barracks. Good, we build 0 gold. If the income is less than 2 and there's not a gold, then we build a mine. Otherwise, we build towers. That's really that simple. So we're going to simplify this a lot. If build, we're going to completely get rid of. We don't even need that anymore. We're going to do if move. The closest non-site. If we find a site, we're going to do return build at. Self.build at state, site. And if it's none, we're going to find our weakest tower and replace it. Return self.build at state, TP. So this is a fairly radical change. I don't know in C++. In Rust there's a filter command. I think C++ also has a filter command. But actually I saw on Stack Overflow somebody was asking about, I thought I saw a question about accumulate if. There might be a combination, otherwise you're going to do a filter on it. Alright, so we have all this and we're just going to return an option string self.build at. If we have no weakest tower, then we're screwed. This none is never going to happen. This none never going to happen just because, yeah, we're screwed. And so the if flee, what do we have for if flee? If flee, we'll have to think about. When we're fleeing, we just go rebuild towers. Let's see, so I've greatly simplified my code. Let's see what happens if I've just screwed myself over or not. Oh, that's supposed to be this. Oh, this is supposed to be a string. It always has a string, so we don't have to do anything. Let's just make it an optional string just in case. Expected stride found reference. Oh, so build at takes a reference. Alright, now this was a crazy change I did. I removed half my code, and let's see how we do in the same battle here. I'd be super happy if we win, but just not doing worse would be better, would be good enough. or we don't last as long. I don't want to play against my last code, because then I beat me. I need to beat other people. Okay, I'm doing something wrong here. We're not upgrading. That's what we're doing. We're not upgrading enough. And so we're going to check this one. We're going to check not if flee. If flee can still be if flee, but if move. You find closest site. Well, let's look for upgradable first. Our upgrades are right here. How fast can we move in a turn? Does it say somewhere? How fast does a queen move? The queen has a speed of 60. And a site, what's the radius of a site? Do they all have their own radius? They each have their own radius, the sites. I'm going to see if the site nearest us is upgradable, and give you an input. Okay, thanks. So we want to find a site that's close to us. The closest site to us. I put this down here. It's a little bit weird because I need the states in this one. Upgrade near closest site. If the owner does not equal us, okay. Distance to position. This is our state dot our queen dot position. Distance to the site. If distance is greater than the queen's speed plus the site dot radius, then we continue, because we can't get there in time, but otherwise we'll get there in time. Otherwise we're at that site. And it doesn't matter, we can find any sites, so we don't really have to go through all of them. And then we're going to have this upgrade here. And let's just do this one. If upgrade and what self state and state site and site option string. It's getting hot in my room. Summertime. It's too warm. Alright, just put this here. And none. Let's turn equals self dot if upgrade state comma site. If turn dot is sum, return turn. I thought we had a macro for this, to be honest. In lib, return sum. Match v, return v. Oh, we have to return it as an optional though. Oh well, we'll just do it that way for now. I can understand that. Okay, I've upgrade. And so we do the same thing up here. Not close site, we just check if we can upgrade this site here. Then we're going to upgrade it. I hope that made sense what I just said. If I need to upgrade sites, but I'm trying to make it more generic, the way we approach this thing. We lasted even less rounds, so what are we doing wrong? I don't think we're upgrading still. There's something wrong with my upgrade. Oh no, I forgot to call a new function. Upgrade near. And that should do the upgrading. So we survived the whole game now, and we upgrade. We should probably conserve our health a little bit more. Okay, and I have something wrong with the gold. We should be getting gold at some point. And we don't get gold, and so we never do any more damage to him. And I thought I took care of that, though. Because we're doing reasonably close, like I'm conserving my life. And if upgrade near, if flee, if move. And if move does, find the closest site to us, and there is none. If there is none, find the weakest tower. And if we find our weakest tower, we're going to build at that tower. And build at says, can we upgrade? Aha! Build at should not do upgrading first. We have something else taking care of upgrading. We first do find nearest upgrade. And otherwise it'll take care of it. So now I'm trying to stick with really simple logic, because in Borders of the Galaxy we ended up having more and more complex logic, and it got harder and harder to maintain, and it just, there's too many conditions. You can no longer reason about the code at the end. So I'm going to try and strip it down to something really small, because it seems to be simpler strategies end up winning anyways. Alright, so we still have that same issue. He still wins, but we still survive the whole thing. Let's figure out. We must have made a mistake here somewhere. Alright, something should be yielding gold here. Our upgrade should actually is not building gold when we need to build gold. Because he's not getting through, but we need to actually build gold and finish him off. And so that must be the find upgrade nearest. And trying to think, how do we do that? Upgrade if we have no gold left. Let's just always give preference to gold mining. Wait, that's not what I wanted. We're actually going to change this to if upgrade. We don't care if it's a mine to start with. We're going to say if gold does not equal 0 and income is less than 3 and the mine is less than the mine size and site.mine income equals -1. Oh, now that'll take care of that as well. No, it has to be site.max mine size equals -1, or site mine is less than max mine size, or it's an unknown, or the current income is less than that. Okay, we upgrade that, and we've got to calculate income. Oops. Max mine size. What I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to find the balance of when we build mines. Because we have towers, we have the defensive thing done. Now we need some offensive, and I have the barracks, and the barracks are only built on old mines, but we need to build some new mines sometimes as well. I just want to see these things switch in the bottom at some point. Alright, as long as we build a new mine, we'll be okay. Alright, so we're still not building mines, so there's something wrong there. We're not building a mine. An upgrade near, we find it. If it's not us, then we continue. Well, that's not really relevant. We can upgrade anything. No, but if it's not us, we continue. And if upgrade says if there may be gold there and our income's less than 3, and let's just do it this way, site.structure does not equal structure type mine. I might have got that wrong, or the mine income is less than the mine max income. And we really don't care about last structure anymore. So we do the if upgrade near, and then we do an if flee. And if move, we find the closest site that's not ours. Or we find the weakest tower and build at. And build at should also... Build at should also prefer upgrades. I notice this looks like it's going in circles, but I'm just trying to get it to do the strategy I have in my head. That as soon as the mine's exhausted, I build a barracks, and if I don't have enough mines, I replace the weakest tower with a mine if it has gold. And now we won, so I think maybe I got the strategy I want now. And we don't really worry about defense still. We should defend ourselves more. And so there we created a mine, and we create another barracks. And now we pummel him and just keep defending ourselves. And when the mine goes away, we create another mine immediately. So that was looking good there. Let's try him again. Ah, crap. We're just not defending ourselves enough, I think. So now it's a matter... Reknakas, my logic for where to put the barracks is I'm putting it in a useless site. So having towers in the front is good for defense, and the barracks is being placed here just because I can't put a gold mine there anymore and I need one. Hi Argantas, welcome to the show. I'm going to submit this and see how it does, because it's a totally different strategy, is that I'm building barracks only when I have nothing else for the site. So the mine has been exhausted, and I think I need to tweak it a bit to defend myself, because I'm thinking I'm being too aggressive. I'm just not defending myself. Right, I'm just not defending myself here enough. And so I tweak too much against that one guy, and I just get annihilated here. And that one worked. Agantas, we're not sure how many rush tricks we're going to learn this time, but there'll always be a few, and we are still doing rush. We still learn bits of a time. Argantas, I'm not sure how far I can make it this time because I have a very limited time. I'm not actually here next week, which was the reason I wasn't sure if I was actually going to play this one. Okay, so now my new approach has me losing too much in the lower leagues. I just get pummeled too quickly. Alright, what I have to do is the mine structure. Let's back off on creating mines until we have enough towers. And let's have two versions of this. If it is a mine, if it's already a mine, let's just have the two versions of this. Sidetrack it. If it's a mine and the mine income is less than max size, we can build it. Otherwise, a tower count. Otherwise, if tower count is greater than 3, we're going to build a mine afterwards. Yeah, I mean, Agandas, you can do a lot. It's a matter of finding the code that works. And we think we're in the right area, the balancing what we have to do. And I simplified my code a lot, which knocked us back a bit, but I think the simplification helps. And let's find those ones we're losing against. Just another one we lose against. That's a typical one we just get pummeled on. Because we have to defend. I think as we do higher up, we're better. So we're at the bottom of the league, we have an issue. We're losing against the first people, I think, a lot. And we really need to learn to defend ourselves a bit more. Right, we walk right out to the middle of nowhere here. We're not actually fleeing anymore if we're in danger. It's like super hard to balance. And I mean, this game is simpler than the last one, but I'm still not so excited about this game. It's still a lot of just balancing stuff like the last one, coming up with some key strategies and then just sort of balancing them, and it's not. There's only so much fun stuff. There's only so much to discover here, and you're going to be fighting against a lot of things. That was my reminder. I have to fly to Oslo on Monday. Close sight, upgrade near, and I need to run away, and running away is my big deal. I'm not running away right now. What do they want to change right now? I have no idea what I wanted to change. Something with the gold mine. So now we have a lot of towers, so let's just do... We have find nearest, I think. We're looking for a knight that's near us. Find nearest enemy knight. And try and do something very simple. We don't do if flee anymore. Maybe we should. Oh, we still do if flee. But we do upgrade near first. That seems wrong. If fleeing should come first. And... well, let's do fleeing first. Well, my fleeing obviously didn't work. No, we have to get rid of that because we don't build barracks originally. And he just runs across the top. we should probably not walk into the range of his towers as well. And so he patterns out because he doesn't produce enough. He actually runs into gold. I don't know what the hell happened to him. And we shouldn't go somewhere that's within range of another tower. That'd be the obvious improvement, but let's just submit this and see what happens. Well, that's not looking good. Oh, half and half. But we get matched through random guys. We don't know how well that is. And so see, what I'm saying is I don't, about this competition, which gets very hard, is in the code-wise, you only have so much time to actually think about how you're going to construct your code. Is that I really don't want to be the guy thinking of the strategies, and this is what the game enforces. The game enforces you to think of a strategy rather than let the game figure it out for you, and it makes the game, it's exactly the same as in Botters, and that makes it slightly less interesting than a game where the computer can actually figure out what the strategy might be. So we're not really writing an AI here, we're writing an expert system, and so there's other people that just understand the game a lot better, knowing what they should do. And they might have degenerate strategies, they might have more, and like, look at this ridiculous strategies, because now you have to have this ridiculous thing. You have to figure out what he's doing and try to match the strategies. And this is the problem I had in Botters, which made it so hard, is that about half the strategies out there, they're not actually trying to adapt. They're just trying to find the one thing that works well in certain situations and not adapt to what the enemy does. And you can easily get probably to silver or even gold with that. But if you want to get up to, say, in like the legendary leagues, you have to actually adapt to what the situation is, and most of these probably don't. But they do reasonably well, and then you're forced to deal with these sort of strategies where they're not really doing much. Like this one right here. And it's like, how am I supposed to account for this here? I haven't generated a barracks yet. And I mean, maybe I should. Maybe I have to start going that route. Maybe I have to start going the route of deciding. But then we have this Shinny guy at the top. And let's go fight against him again. That he had a really simple strategy from what we could tell. No, don't do that. So he had a really simple strategy. I'm going to play him. But we're not seeing what his strategy is. Maybe he does something different against other people. Why am I not building a barracks? Yeah, I know I can do that. I'm just trying to see. Yeah, okay, that's correct. I could do that. Obviously, what I was doing, and I'm not building a barracks now, which is an issue. I've messed up the strategy. Reknakas, I do the same thing. I build mines, and I'm going to shift them around. You have to shift the mines around. And now I need to create a barracks. Why am I not creating barracks anymore? I disable the check for fleeing. I don't flee if I have barracks, but I should still be building barracks. And this is why I wanted to simplify my code. I wanted to simplify it, and it's become complex again, and I can't track it. I can't track it well, what I'm doing. And so what I should do is, what I did in Bodder is I kept adding ifs. So what I'm going to try and do this way, I'm just going to keep backing out of my logic, keep removing conditions until I can beat this with less and less conditions rather than more if conditions. And I just get hammered by this. And I never build those barracks. And let's do this. Or tower count is greater than 4. Then we'll build the barracks as well. But then we'll check him as Arganta suggested. Maybe let's check him against that. What was the other guy's name? Now why did no? Now we have a barracks. And we are putting pressure on him now, but what happens? He sits there, just chilling out, where I go into the middle of nowhere. Okay, so I have a fix against that. If flee, or state our queen dot health is less than 20. I'm running at 5 times speed. This game goes really slow, this one, yeah? So I have to start producing barracks earlier, I think. Alright, and that's I walked too far away. I have to figure out how to do that. So what I'm going to have to do is, when my health is low enough, I'm going to have to assume that I built enough of a base here that I just go back and fall back on it and hope that I have enough to kill him with. Because there's nothing left I can do at that point anyways. So I'm going to undo that. Okay, and now the find our weakest tower, find our weakest tower. How do I want to do that now? Fleet. Ref from is 0.2. Ref max is a F64. And when you do this, distance let distance equal site dot position dot distance to the ref from. We don't even need to check. If the distance is greater than the ref max, then we continue. We don't have one. And where do we find weakest tower? Is it if flee? And we want to do state.start position 400. We'll just do the bases close by to there. 500 maybe. And that'll always pull us back. But we have another find weakest tower if move. And here we can do anywhere. We can just do state.our queen.position 1000. Doesn't matter. This is 0.0. And when I meant to produce the barracks quicker as well. And I think the issue here is I actually have to find ones that are empty as well. So find our weakest should actually find an empty spot as well. I mean, why not? At what distance? And it's just better to build a new tower that's close by. If it equals us and the site structure is not a tower, then we can use it. Health is, I'm trying to think of how this logic. Basically, I want to say, and it's always hard to balance. I want to take the towers and reinforce them because it makes them stronger, but I also just want to say, look, if there's an empty one there, just build it as well. And this would be within that range. If it's too far away, just ignore it. And the health we can easily do. We do site.structure. If site.structure equals structure type tower, then it gets that, else it just gets 0. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep trying. I'm trying to encode the logic that I'm going to run away and just build towers nearby me, and even on the ones that are broken, and just go into defensive mode. Oh, and I forgot to build barracks earlier again. And I'm undecided on why. Like, it got his health down. I'm just going to submit this one and see what happens. I think my code's getting too complicated again. I don't know how complicated these things are, if they're super complicated or not, but I think I'm going to log off soon anyways, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. We're waiting for that to run. Let me show you what I've been doing on Leaf today. I did the show earlier, and that's where I did the Wormies game, and I should really have a command line to run this. Leaf.wormies.dis.leaf. And this is just the build script. I don't have a build file for it yet or anything. SDL2 image. And this is my own language, so don't be shocked if it's not too interesting yet. But this is my own language, so we're really working on the compiler and using SDL, as you can see, at the same time. And today we added the graphics. I showed how to, if you see the graphics here, I showed how to add vertex attributes to GL, to add shading based on direction, and that's basically all we does. We don't have a lot done here yet. And I'm going to be working on this again tomorrow morning, I think, or tomorrow around noon, I'm not sure. I'll just follow me on Twitter and on Twitch, and I'll usually announce it in advance when I'm going to work on it. But I'm hoping tomorrow, and then tomorrow evening coding game again. And tomorrow we're going to make a dot that moves, and this is just showing the animation. And again, what we're working on here is mainly in the compiler, showing that the compiler works and covering cases for that. I've been doing a lot of things today with the compiler, with calling conventions, and not really needed for this. We can go on without it. And I just want to show you this first. If you don't watch my other shows, this is the type of stuff I do in my other show. I do Wormies, and there's some keyboard issues now on SDL that we had to figure out, but I just wanted to show you this quickly, and then you can watch him die here. He goes red. And this is what I work on in the mornings. I'm going to start working on some of the weeks, and it's all about the language Leaf. Leaf is a different language. Some of it's not inspired by Rust, but I'm going to take the pattern matching probably and some other things. Alright, now let's see how horribly we're performing. 286, and are we going up, or what's happening to us? We are going up, so who knows? We're not doing great. But we did best at the first part of the show today, this morning. We were doing the best, or not this morning, but when I first logged on, we were doing the best then. But not a lot better. We got up to 157 at the best. So it's hard to say what we're actually doing here. And other people are improving as well, of course. We had a score of 22, and as other people improve, it pushes us down. And what I should do is I should simplify it all again, because the strategy, and you compare against one guy, though the strategy is not really there. So let's take this guy and let's see what he does against that other awful guy. What was his name? He had a K in it. I'd remember the picture if I saw it, I think. It's not, or maybe it was this guy. What, Trickery? Just remember the K. Napak, and Napak's doing really poorly, and let's see how this guy does against him. Let's see what Shingy does against Napak, to see if he has a different strategy or what happens. I just want to see if he can completely converts his strategy, or it's the same strategy, just works all around. So far he does the same thing, and he just builds barracks then, and it's really shocking. We should just be able to reduce our barracks count. Yeah, I think this is, well, Napak I think is one of the expand strategies. Let's see if I can do that now, just build this quicker. So we're up to 207 with the other one. Come on, Napak. I want to see you fall. Oh, we beat him now. So he has no defense, so that actually beat him now. And now I'm tempted to know, what do we do in this other one? Does it actually improve us or anything? Where are we? We're kind of stuck, so we don't have a problem with doing a new submission. Let's submit and see what happens with that one. I'm not going to stay up later than 1 at the most, but I'll see what happens. I might be less than that. These first 10, so we actually won quite a few of the first 10 this time. Oh well, until those two showed up. And so we're still running into his towers, and you saw how we died here. So that one is we're just staying at a range of the towers. And what happens here? Oh no, we're evening rust. We're on this side here. And we should actually optimize how we create the towers then. So we have some, I know, and again, it's very easy to look at this and say, well, I know what I should have done, and then the issue is, how do I encode this into logic? How do I encode this into logic? And do I make this like a super complex tree of if-else statements, or do I just keep trying to simplify it? And I prefer the simpler approach because then it's easier to reason with, and you can rewrite the code a lot better. And like, the logic here is basically on mine is that, I don't know, it's hard to say. Because you can see how sometimes the strategy works, sometimes it doesn't. This guy tried something very basic. I can't see how that works. Oh, because I still walk into his towers. And I should really avoid doing it. The towers don't do much damage to me very quickly. And I'm tempted whether we make ours even more goal-based. Yeah, and Agantas, that's the thing. The refactoring is an issue, is that on Borders of the Galaxy, when we reached Legendary League, we just accepted where we were. We had no desire. Gold became a marathon of stamina because there was just too many if statements. We were tweaking random crap, hoping to just reach out of gold. And it was really no fun anymore, because it wasn't like... And then once Legendary, we just didn't care. And we were in top 100 at one point, but we're going to see what happens here. I think we can probably do it. But again, I don't want to reach top 100 with a bunch of random if statements. I want to simplify my code and have a strategy that just sort of works, and it's really simple. And we're just going to have to find a way to encode that. But this does not appear to be it. And we were doing better before, and then I simplified my code, and it went bad. But I think I'm going to leave it here for today. We're somewhere in the middle. We started the day... This is exactly where we started the day, actually. We were higher at one point, and I think I marked my code, and we can get back there. But I have to simplify the code again to decide what we really want to do. And look at our biggest problems and rebuild them from that. Rather than tweaking, I'd rather have something fundamental that does better, because this is still bronze. But again, we don't know what those top 100 in bronze are. Are they actually bronze caliber? Are they gold caliber? Some of those guys may already have legendary caliber bots in there. Yeah, botters, I mean BOTG, Borders of the Galaxy. And so we're going to find out. But I'm going to leave it for today, so thanks for watching. And Argantas, yeah, I'm trying to avoid creating multiple strategies because that created too much work in Borders. So we're trying to do a balance between how much we can play with the code and refactoring. And you saw now it's hard for me to go back to what I had. It's hard to tweak, but The other one, if I have strategies, it's just too much code to maintain. So it really is a balance here. It's a balance of many, many things. And there's nothing fundamental we're doing wrong in the game. And the coding is more. We just have to clean up the code. But I'll be back again tomorrow. We see where we are. Tomorrow during the day, I'm going to work on Leaf. That was that little game of Wormies I showed you. If you're interested in compilers, please check it out. And be sure to subscribe, follow Twitter and Twitch so you know when I'm on. And don't be afraid to cheer for me. It helps me along. And if you want, you can subscribe to me on Patreon. If you have an Amazon Prime account, be sure to subscribe to me on Twitch. It doesn't cost you anything. And we'll see you then tomorrow. Thank you very much.